Hey everybody, hope you guys are healthy and safe. So I've been covering Huawei products since 2016, and in the first few years, even though Huawei made a wide variety of products, one could argue that the smartphone was the bread and butter, at least on the consumer side. But then that changed in 2019 when Huawei smartphone business hit some obstacles due to you know what? And then I saw a pivot in the company's strategy. It pivoted to making more wearables, and it has paid off because now in 2025, Huawei is the #1 maker of wrist-worn wearables in the whole world, going by market share anyway. And today in Paris, Huawei is launching 2 new smartwatches: the Huawei Watch GT6 Pro that I'm wearing right now, and the Huawei Watch Ultimate 2. Now, both of these watches continue 3 things that Huawei smartwatches have always offered. Number 1, absolutely jaw-dropping best-in-class battery life. The GT6 Pro that I'm wearing right here, I can charge it once and it can last for 21 days. 21 days, that is insane. This guy doesn't last quite as long, but still like 11 or 12 days on a single charge. So extremely good battery life. Number 2, super premium hardware. Both of these guys, they resemble like a conventional luxury timepiece, particularly the Watch Ultimate 2 with very premium materials and craftsmanship. And number 3, both of these watches are platform agnostic, meaning whether you're using an iPhone or a Huawei Pure 80 Ultra or a Vivo or Xiaomi phone, both of these watches will connect to the phone perfectly because they're designed to work for Android, iOS, and HarmonyOS/EMUI. So let's first take a look at the Watch GT6 Pro because I personally like this watch more than the Watch Ultimate 2. I think it's more designed for someone like me. So the GT6 Pro comes in only one size, 46mm, but there is a non-Pro version, just the standard GT6, that comes in 46mm and a smaller 42mm. I did not get to touch or see that watch, so I don't know anything about it. But the 46mm here, it's a very good size in my opinion. It's large enough that you can see the screen and the text clearly, but it's not so large that it looks comical on my wrist. I also like this unique hexagonal frame that differentiates from most other smartwatches, which are either like a squircle like the Apple Watch or a perfect circle. This is like a unique look, but still classy, still resembles a timepiece. So the GT6 Pro comes in 3 variants. Unfortunately, I have probably the cheapest variant, the black version with a vinyl rubber strap that I'm just not a fan. There are 2 other versions, one with a woven strap, and then one, probably the most expensive premium one, with a stainless steel titanium strap. However, the silver lining is that Huawei has designed a very easy mechanism. You just need to press the button once to remove the band. So you can just swap another band if you want. So I'm probably going to go on Taobao later and buy a third-party leather band or titanium band. So you have an AMOLED display right here, wrapped by a bezel that's 10% thinner than last year's GT5 Pro screen. So this is a really good looking panel, and it gets up to 1500 nits of maximum brightness, which is good enough to see outdoors, although the Watch Ultimate 2 doubles the maximum brightness, so it's even brighter, but I'll talk about this later. This hexagonal casing is constructed out of a TC4 titanium alloy with an extra metallic coating on the top that helps the casing resist erosions, whether from sweat or from seawater or just from natural humidity in Asia. This watch is rated IP69 for water and dust resistance. What that means is the IP6 means it's protected against dust, and 9 means that it is tested to be able to withstand high pressure jets or high pressure water blowing at it. However, there's no mention of an IP6P rating. The 6P, the P means how far the watch can go underwater and how long it can be submerged. So there doesn't seem to be official rating for this watch to be used underwater, but to be honest, I'm pretty sure it will survive like a basic swim because I worn this watch at a swimming pool. I worn it in the shower just as a test and it worked perfectly fine. There are 2 buttons both on the right side. There's a clickable and twistable digital crown that does what you would expect. You rotate the crown to navigate through the UI. There's a nice little haptic feedback that as you're twisting the crown. So inside the watch, the GT6 Pro uses a high silicon stacked battery. So the battery has apparently been shaped in hexagonal shapes to fit the casing a little bit better. And the battery has a 37% higher battery density than previous batteries. So combined, the larger battery plus the higher density gives this watch 67% better battery life than last generation. That is why on a single charge, this guy can go up to 21 days. Now 21 days is just, they call it light use, meaning you're not regularly tracking exercises every day. You're just wearing the watch on your wrist to check the time and to keep track of your steps and the heart rate occasionally. So that's like a more casual use. For a little bit more active use like me, meaning I'm going to be working out almost every day, doing exercise tracking, and maybe testing my heart rate a little bit more, the watch can still go 14 days on a single charge. 14 days on a single charge is long enough that almost anybody can go on vacation and not need to bring a charger. So all the previous Huawei Watch GT features are here. So this watch comes with Huawei's TrueSense sensor, which is a series of sensors on the back that scans the back of your wrist to detect your heart rate, conduct an ECG, blood oxygen level, and check skin temperature, all that. Although the Watch Ultima 2 has an even more advanced sensor, which I will talk about later. But you can track over 100 different workouts with this watch, including the newest feature, the newest addition to the Watch GT series. This watch can track cycling, and it's not just basic like check your heart rate. So there's a sensor outside that detects wind resistance, so how fast the wind is blowing at the watch, and using a combination of that sensor, there's also an algorithm that Huawei says was designed by the Beijing Sports Institute. So the algorithm, along with the sensor, along with basic information that you put into the watch, telling the watch what bike you're riding. Now I have worn this to go on 2 separate bicycle rides, and I can see from the stats that it accurately tracked the route that I rode, and also shows me pretty detailed stats on how fast I was going and my apparent virtual power output, how much power I was pushing with my legs. Now, unfortunately, I don't have any other professional tools to measure like how fast I'm riding and my virtual power output, so I cannot confirm if this is accurate or not. But I ride enough to kind of have a general idea, and I would think the stats are pretty accurate. If you're a casual rider, it is still nice to see all your stats on the watch. And if you go to the Huawei Health, which is the companion app, you can see a more detailed map with an animation of your ride. So I also wore this watch to go on a run a couple of days ago in Hong Kong, and once again, it also accurately tracked the exact route that I was running. Like the route was very accurate, as you can see right here. It even detected minor turns that I made at that park. So this exact route tracking is thanks to the new tracking GPS system in here. Huawei calls it the Sunflower GPS system. So it apparently uses 6 satellites along with algorithm designed by Huawei to give you a more precise location tracking from within 10 meters in the past to within 8 meters. So I can see from this jogging route, it is 100% accurate. As I mentioned earlier, this watch can connect to basically any recent smartphone. So I paired it with my Vivo X200 Ultra. I'm able to get all the notifications from that watch, and I can respond to text notifications too, which you couldn't do on older Huawei smartwatches. That was always one of my complaints. But now if I get a WhatsApp message here, I can read the message and I can respond via the on-screen keyboard or via voice commands. And of course, you can take voice calls with this guy too. There's a speaker right here at the bottom that pumps out very loud audio. Alright, next up, let's look at the Huawei Watch Ultima 2. This is an even more premium smartwatch than the GT6 Pro, and it's technically better in every way. It can do everything the GT6 Pro can do, plus it can do more, and the hardware is obviously a little bit higher tier too. So the 1.5-inch AMOLED screen here, it gets even brighter, up to 3000 nits of brightness. It's also an LTPO 2.0 panel, so the refresh rate varies between 1 and 120 Hz, whereas this guy, the screen, it's only stuck at either 60 or 120 Hz. The casing is also made of a little bit more premium material. The side frame's a high quality liquid metal, and then the back, it's ceramic material. This guy has all the same fitness tracking features of the GT Watch 6 Pro, but it can do more. It has much stronger water resistance rating. You can go underwater up to 150 meters at up to 30 minutes at a time. And if you go into the sports tracking, there's also a dive computer. There's an X-Tap sensor on the right side. So the X-Tap sensor, I covered it about 6 months ago because it first made its debut with the Huawei Watch 5. So the X-Tap sensor, it's an all-in-one sensor that can detect 11 health metrics, everything from your heart rate to an ECG to skin temperature to your stress levels to like the electrical signals in your pulse and your heart. So this X-Tap sensor, it's special because it is just one tap to activate. You just need to press your finger onto it and it will begin scanning for the 11 health metrics. Huawei also says the X-Tap sensor, it's a little bit more accurate than the TrueSense sensor, because the TrueSense sensor in the GT6 Pro, it's a sensor on the back that scans your wrist. The X-Tap scans your fingertip, and Huawei says because the skin on your fingertip, it's a little bit thinner and you have more blood vessels at your fingertip than on the back of your wrist, the reading, it's a little bit more accurate. Not to mention the X-Tap can do more readings. So like I said, if you go by hardware and also the pricing, this is a better watch than the GT6 Pro in almost every area. So then why did I say earlier I've been wearing the GT6 Pro and I will continue to wear the GT6 Pro? It's because I think the Watch Ultimate 2 is almost too advanced, too good for me. This is kind of like the Apple Watch Ultra. It's designed for extremely outdoorsy, adventurous people, for people who go mountaineering, to go hiking for like 5 days at a time, to go deep sea diving. And I don't do any of that. And also, you can tell from the design of this watch, from the watch face to the material used to just Huawei's typical marketing, that the Watch Ultimate 2, it's designed for rich people, for like, you know, people that are always in a suit, for people who like take their holidays to go golfing in Switzerland, to go deep sea diving. And I'm just an average working class millennial who don't do any of those things. I've never golfed, I've never dived, I've never skied, I've never been to a ski resort. So I am not the right audience for this watch. This is the watch for me because it's more for everyday use and also tracks cycling, a more working class activity, which I love. But there's no doubt that if you go by craftsmanship, this is absolutely one of the highest tier smartwatches out in the world right now. Now, unfortunately, I don't have the official price of these watches yet, but going by past history, like the past models, we can kind of have a guess. We can guess that the GT6 Pro probably be priced at between 500 to 600 US dollars. This is like converted from all the other currency, because obviously the watch is not going to sell in the US. And the Watch Ultimate 2, 700 to 900 US dollars. So this is a premium watch with a premium price. That's probably too high for like 95% of average consumers, but like Huawei products likes to aim at the luxury crowd, and this watch is definitely aiming at that like top 3, 4, 5% of spenders. But like I said, for me, for most people, I think the Huawei Watch GT6 Pro, it's the more practical offering that does everything that we need. And 14-day or 21-day battery life, man, that is freaking uncanny. Oh, and this guy can last about 11 days on a single charge, which is still really damn good. So that's about it for this. I would call the GT6 Pro a review because I actually wore it non-stop for 7 days. But the Watch Ultimate 2 is not a review because like I didn't, you know, go diving with it. I didn't go mountaineering. I barely scratched the surface of this, what this watch can do. So it's more like a review for this guy, but a hands-on for this guy. So I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, please subscribe to my channel. It will help me a lot. I have a lot more coming. So my review of the new iPhones is coming very soon, as well as new Xiaomi products. So stay tuned, man. That's it for now. Thanks for watching.